Now I'd like to take a minute to talk to you about moisture-loving plants, sometimes referred to as damp-loving plants, but also misleadingly referred to as bog plants by many people. Now I want to have a good word about this word bog. This is bog sage, Salvia Uliginosa. Now this plant would not thrive in a bog as you and I would probably think of it. I don't know about you, but I think of a bog as being squelchy wet with standing water. The only type of plant suitable for that sort of condition is a marginal plant, which we've already talked about. These are moisture loving plants. They like a higher than ordinary moisture level in the soil, but if you were to plant them in water up to this depth, they would go yellow and they would fail to thrive. So this plant needs water down here somewhere in the soil where its roots have access to it, but does not want standing water at the surface. There's many plants called bog plants, and very few of them actually would want to grow in a bog. All of these plants here are moisture loving plants. Now, an area to grow moisture loving plants is quite a difficult thing to provide in most gardens. Most gardens are dry, and the ones that aren't may be wet. There's not very many that are just damp all year round. And the type of damp that kills these plants off quicker than anything is winter damp. If it's cold and wet and there's water sitting on the surface in the winter, none of these plants would like it. But they are a fantastic foil for the plants that are in your pond, and so you need to provide special conditions for them beside the pond if you want them to thrive. And typically that means making a bed that is impervious and filled with water up to about 6 inches below the surface, but with the top surface more open and free draining, so a very gravelly mix of soil. Paradoxically, many people think of the area just outside of their pond as being a suitable place for damp-loving plants. But when you come to think about it, the area immediately outside a pond with a rubber liner is actually as dry, if not drier, than anywhere else in the garden, because water can drain away freely on the outside of the liner down into the hole that you dug for the pond in the first place, and so is not suitable without adaptation.